All right, it's 8 o'clock. It's time to stretch it out.
Morning, Joel.
Morning. I am Joel.
Morning, Joel.
Good morning, Joel. We're up and do some stretching, starting with the head circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Arms out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Arm swirls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch those toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Behind the head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And twist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touching the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Each knee side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hit ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Grateful. I'm grateful for my wife. She is a very good person and she's a very effective communicator. She's ruled by logic and not emotion, which is nice. And there's a photo representation of us. She's making something very tasty. I made fresh for dinner, and I'm sitting there thinking, what did I do to deserve this?
I thought he was heading around. You wore that sweater yesterday.
That's me. Shout outs.
I got a shout out for Jamie and Cole for doing that 2-man cell yesterday. They did a really good job.
Got a shout out for Chris. He's worked his butt off yesterday on the Lismac cleaning parts and the laser pretty much by himself for better part of the day.
Got a shout out to Travis and Power Coating. It's been hitting home runs every day since Trevor left and getting a lot of product moved through, even though he's shorthanded and didn't really get help until after lunch.
I got a shout out for Caden. He's been learning a lot over the powder show, helping out a lot with mollies and brackets and all that stuff. So.
They say he really enjoys it over there too.
Oh, really?
Oh, does it? I'm surprised.
You say you're. They go quite fast. I can tell you that. I got a shout out for Kevin Rickers. Helping us get our internet situated in our new building has been a major task. He's also handling all consumers, so gas and electric as well. So big tasks, and I'm grateful for having doing those. You're welcome.
Good.
I would shout out to Bryce yesterday, he was patient with me, we were working through some annoying stuff on some 550 rear bumpers and the weld stuff, so. We'll get it figured out, but I don't feel like we came out of the cell with a solid answer yesterday, which is kind of frustrating. He was understanding about that, so. Thank you, Bryce.
Yeah, a shout out for everyone who's been helping me at the Wizard, Bryce, Monty, CJ, it's been nice.
Shout out to all the political ads going back in hibernation.
Shout out to Jen. It's her birthday. Right?
Happy birthday!
It's mine.
And yours? Yeah, birthday too. 19. It's so
Nice.
And then Lee's got a shout out. Shout out Lee, the Brian Trader. He caught another bumper and shipping. It was a mismatch from 3rd and 4th gen Tacoma, I believe. And basically Lee reached out to the customer and let him know that Brian caught that error. And the customer was extremely happy because it saved him a lot of time, money, frustration in the future. And the other bumper was, I think, $230 or something less expensive. So he got that money back. And the customer was so pleased. He was like, I'll just give it to your shipping crew and, you know, get them lunch. And he's like, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. So sorry, shipping crew, but it's a great example of effective communication. That's really going above and beyond for the customer. I mean, how often have you ever made a mistake when placing an order and a company reached out and said, hey, you did not mean to order this and we're going to save you money and time and frustration down the road, especially if it goes to a shop. That's the time at the shop. There's a lot of savings there. So shout out to Brian. And I think that goes to show that anybody, not just up there in customer service, can really help serve the customer if you're kind of just keeping an eye out for things and watching carefully. And that's the second one from Brian too, because he caught another one that was like 2 weeks ago. So that's great.
I think one small thing to tack on to the end of that is I think we all at this point have been here long enough for the most part that we know our product pretty well. So if you see something that does look out of the ordinary, whether it's about to go out the door or it's sitting here and shipping or back in fab or whatever, don't be afraid to say something.
I'll give you guys an example of a bad version of this. Our XJ winch bumper includes time brackets. And there would be times where customers would order the time brackets additional, and historically we would just ship them. Because, well, maybe they meant to order two. I mean, deep down we knew they didn't mean to order two. But then you would think, okay, when the customer gets this bumper, they're gonna think that we made a mistake and shipped them two, when they really just gave us extra money. So it's not really holding to our honesty on our core value very well either. So things like that, you know, customers just make mistakes. There's a lot of product on our website. Trying to weed through it and get it correct can be difficult. So when you do have those orders in front of you, it definitely pays to look at them and value them. Now, obviously on the other side of the curtain, you guys don't have the luxury of being able to tell where things go together. Shipping they do, as well as customer service when they're doing callback, or what do you guys call those? So the first call.
Intro calls.
So how did you catch it? You just noticed you ordered a bunch of stuff for, and it didn't match?
Yeah, a 3rd gen front strike and a 4th gen rear on the same order.
Oh, another quick example of that, we shipping guys, Ben called, Ben was shipping the first Land Cruiser and GX 550 crossbars that we made on their OEM replacement crossbars for the factory rails. I came down and checked out all the parts and they were about great and the bolt pack was right and everything, but he showed me he had 4 pairs of them wrapped and then he had a single wrap. And I'm looking down like, these things, like typically, you don't just put one crossbar on your car, and you can't really mount anything to it, so. Joel and I got together and we reached out to the customer and make sure that they meant to order just one, I don't know whatever came with that,
Joe, I called him 3 times.
but he never answered.
He never answered, so we shipped it out, but it's like, what can you do at that point?
So at some point, when he decides to take his work clothes off and go out and put that one crossbar on his ledges, he's gonna realize that he needs two. But nonetheless, we caught it and tried to reach out.
Maybe it was China. Yeah, maybe we should cancel that.
Very well. All right, our improvement video of today, kind of tying into keys to effective communication, is Brian.
Hey guys, Brian from Fat American Manufacturing, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Some of you know I'm only about 3 months into our lean journey, and we've been implementing as fast as we can. But I wanted to show you guys kind of a real before and after kind of like, crap moment for me. Let me put my camera on, I'll show you. And this is all inventory. Now, with lean, there's a couple of things that I've picked up. One, we've made too much of many things, which then leads to defects. And here's a good example of what could cause a defect, right? So we have dirt all over this product, and probably because we made too many, overproduction. But anyways, you know, we use an ERP system, tells our employees what to go pick. And these are the labels that we had. And they're just magnets. We're so classy. Yeah, we just use magnets. This isn't even the real part numbers, like an abbreviated part number. And we're expecting our employees to just know what to look for, find it, and get it correct. Now, what I've been working on today is implementing the Gemba Docs Kanban system. As you can see now, we have a picture of the part, including all the small parts that my employees tend to forget, which is understandable. It's not easy. Then we have our Kanban card, and you can see right here, this one's for 2, and you can see we actually have more than we need. Not terrible, but it's still more than we need. So it's just nice to finally have a system that works. This one's pretty cool. So on the back of here, we have this QR code. This QR code actually will scan into an Excel sheet, and it's going to load this part in Radan. And then in Radan, we can set it right to our laser. But anyways, this is a really good kind of how we used to do it and why we expected good results versus how we're doing it now using the proper tools like Gemba Docs and Kanban. And I'm super excited to get this done. But as you can see, got a lot to go. Trying to focus on the runners and streamers and save the strangers for last. So I'm kind of jumping around trying to get the main ones taken care of. Anyways, hope you guys have a great week and hope you have a lot of success in your lean journey as well.
Context on that, I shared that in a group on Signal that has about 200 people. It's in the Improvement Starts to Die group. So it's just a Yokotan group of sharing videos and ideas and stuff like that. So I shared that there and got some feedback there as well from people that have done this a long time.
Yeah, I think it's just a great example of effective communication through visual control. I know when I started here and I was first doing returns, it was very difficult for me because I wasn't as familiar with the product. So finding its location, I'd be going up to Brian every 5 minutes and asking. But you know, you got to look at things from the eyes of a new employee because I mean, eventually that's the case, and you want it to be as simple and straightforward as possible because that ultimately saves on any shipping errors.
We haven't spent a lot of time about making sure the product is like grouped together. So it's still a little bit jumbled, but we've decided that it wasn't worth the time right now to do that. So when we move, the idea would be that like models or like products would be together in one area so that it makes sense. And we'll sort that out when we get there. It's a big project, but at least it's labeled and generally in the right area. Better than previous for sure.
Hey guys, Brian.
All right, before and after, there wasn't a whole bunch of stuff in the chat yesterday for before and after, so I just used an example from myself. This is my desk.
That's Corey's desk on the left. Yeah, except for those are all of his tabs on Chrome.
So basically, I ran into an issue where I was on the phone with the customer and I didn't want to forget about something, so I print off their sale order and write notes on it. And it stacked up pretty quickly, but I did not want to lose track of anything because my fear was letting something slip between the cracks and then having a customer reach out to us a couple weeks later and we fail them. And the improvement starts with iBook. He mentioned downloading the Goals app. It's on iOS, and I did that, and it's awesome. I don't really like using Outlook for calendar events, and this is really simple. You can make your own tabs or anything, so you can really adjust it to your workflow, and you can even use it for like home stuff. But it's super easy. You can figure out the whole thing in like 4 minutes, and there's no like paywall or anything for the base product, which is more than enough. So it's really helped me. I have no papers on my desk right now, so that's helped me organize things and keep the rope tight.
Gembadox is actually working on that. I had a call with Tom this week and he was telling me about some of their future launches, and one of them is a checklist app that lets you be in Gembadox in the app. So it's all integrated.
And it's super like integrated in and of itself. So you can just write like a goal and then you can have a date assigned to it and you can look at a calendar. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but it also helps a lot. So it might help you.
That only on iOS?
Yeah, only on iOS, yeah.
That's beautiful.
And then SOPs, there also wasn't too much there yesterday, so I used one for myself too. Adjusting state tax and Epicor, it's just a simple thing, but keeping the process going of making new SOPs. And then our core values: competitive, passionate, honest, creative, and driven. Today's topic is keys to effective communication. Going back to improvement starts with I, and Brian mentioned this quote in his candor meeting on Monday. Speak without offending, listen without defending. That was in our book club, that was our main takeaway, I think, because it's applicable to your everyday life, and it's just a good thing to keep in mind when we have open forums here, like our morning meetings. Effective communication. Effective communication is the process of exchanging information, thoughts, and emotions in a way that ensures the intended audience understands the message. It involves both the sender and the receiver feeling satisfied. Effective communication skills can help you build strong relationships, make informed decisions, and solve problems. So when I was reading about communication, there's really an overflow of information on the internet. And in my opinion, it kind of makes it overly complex. There's like 7 C's of communication, the 5 C's of communication. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So when we're doing this, I just want you to kind of think about communication in your department. It doesn't have to, we all communicate in different ways on our day-to-day. So just kind of keep that in mind. But we're going to talk about lean communication because it's super simple. A, B, and C. Add value, brief, and clear. It must add value, leaving the recipient better off in some way. It must be brief because attention spans are short and working memory is limited, and it must be clear so that they can take useful information that can be put into practice immediately. It might be interdepartmental communication, customer interactions, the verbiage on our product pages. But effective communication, it should be simple and lean, and that's what we're going to talk about today, the ABCs of that. So value. Lean communication is defined as any information a customer, external or internal, finds useful, usually to take action or make a decision. Lean communication is giving the other person the information they need to make a good decision with minimum of time and effort. It's communicating information that produces outcomes for both parties while preserving the relationship. So according to traditional lean principles, customer service and sales are non-value departments. But if we're talking with customers and we're helping them make decisions that lead to purchases, it in turn adds value to the company. What does it mean to add value in communication? It's communicating useful information that produces outcomes for the company, the product, or the process. So different communication methods like Kamishibai boards, Gembadox, Kanban systems, visual control, all these things that we've implemented over the past several months, these are all communication methods that can improve our process and eliminate waste. I guess from a production standpoint too, it's kind of just about like communicating and using visual control to map your process and your logic. So if somebody comes into your workstation, they can look and see those visual cues and kind of understand how your workflow goes. Brief. Being brief is your best chance at ensuring your message will get through because time is pressing, attention spans have withered away to almost nothing. Brevity takes time though. You have to do the hard work so your listener doesn't have to. So like when a customer has like an issue troubleshooting, needs help troubleshooting something, it might take us a little bit more time behind the scenes, but it's collecting that information and making it concise and then sending it their way. So you want to make sure your message is brief. Because regardless of how useful your message is, if it's too long-winded, it won't add value because it won't get heard. It's not about efficiency. It's about improving the quality of your message because it takes deep thinking to distill your ideas into a concentrated form. So I guess the paradox here is that brevity takes time. You have to put in the work so your listener doesn't have to. There's so much that we can say, but there's only so much that we should say. Our mind is full of knowledge. Some of that is vital to the message, but most of that is interesting but irrelevant. I think brevity is important when we're communicating with each other. It's easy in certain chats for them to get flooded. I kind of think about your production chat, all of a sudden you'll probably check on it and we'll have 5 or 6 different requests asking when is this going to come through, when is this going to come through. So I think it might be in our best interest to talk about a way that might make that workflow easier for you. So we're not always expecting an instant answer from you or something like that. Moving on to the C is clarity. Clarity focuses on removing mental effort to understand it. So while brevity focuses on shaving time for your message, clarity focuses on removing mental effort to understand it. Brevity and clarity can clash or cooperate. It is possible to be too brief. There are so many different departments here, each with their own unique set of knowledge and skills. You may not remember what it was like to not know what you know now. For example, an engineer might need to simplify an explanation to me when I'm helping a customer troubleshoot a fitment issue or something along those lines. Besides leading to misunderstanding, the main cost is that when the other person does not understand logic, they may not admit that it's unclear to them. So brevity and clarity can cooperate because stripping out unnecessary detail can make structure easy to follow. Clarity is also focused on the language you use. Speak plainly and directly. Don't try to sound smart. It helps making abstract concepts clear by using concrete examples. So like Brian talking about candor earlier this week, I think one of the key strengths is open communication here at JCR is just having the floor open every day, just for open and honest discussion and dialogue. Clarity with our product that would add value is just clarity on the resources that we provide our customer. So having our product pages and our installation documents as brief, clear, and concise as possible is going to make the best user experience for the customer. And then just kind of opening the floor here, if anyone has any ideas of how their department can implement effectively in communication.
I know that one thing that really stuck out to me, we've been going through that improvement start to fly, and listening to understand and not to respond is pretty important when you're working in between departments, is you need to understand where they're coming from and not just reply to what they're saying. Kind of take a second to think about what they're going through because of what you're doing.
WhatsApp. We have an entire platform to communicate openly across the entire company, and you still have maybe the same 17 people that interact in that space. So a lot of times we play a video up here, and it's funny to hear people react to those videos because they're a week old in our WhatsApp chat, and it just goes to show like the importance of us sharing this here, because in many things it kind of stinks, because if we have a situation and we need to address it, we have to do it in the morning meeting if we want all of you to pay attention. And it'd be nice if we could just share it in one location and have everybody consuming it there. So I do think that you have to have some value for that, more than just, I'm not just asking you to jump into some chat group. I'm asking you to like participate in what we're doing here every day while you're here at work. So I'm paying you to get on your phone and look at your WhatsApp, to look at the communication that everybody's sharing. So if you're not doing that, then in a way you're being insubordinate of the process. So I'm just gonna put that out there, a little heavier than I wanted to, but it has a huge value. There shouldn't be a reason for myself to have to say things 7 times to people when I can just say it once in one location and people can consume it. That's kind of the whole idea.
I'd say these combine cards that I'm starting to get Ryan made, that's very effective. I don't have to look for that stuff. It's just, here's a stack. This is what we need. This is what I can cut. Then that's effectively, sure, it's helping me.
I think the dunnage bin for the like D-ring stuff has really helped because we don't have to like say, hey, Monty, we need more D-rings. How many do you need? Blah, blah, blah. We just take the dunnage bin back there, we set it down, they know that they need to fill it again. Then we just consume the next dunnage bin until that one's refilled. It's been really nice in communicating what we need in bed.
More heaviness. while using Kanban and dunnage works only if we follow the process.
Yeah.
So the minute we stop pulling the Kanban cards correctly, the whole thing falls apart. So there's an aspect that we have to follow rules, because if we don't, then you're gonna have stock outages. You're not gonna have the parts you need when you need them. We're gonna make our customer wait. You know, we're gonna have to then rush a product through, which is gonna interrupt more production. So make sure you follow that as well.
And if something runs out and you don't know what to do, ask somebody, hey, what's the Kanban?
Yeah.
You know, what's the strategy on this? What do we do? Where do we go from here? If it's not clear, maybe we can make it clear, we can improve upon it.
I think the robot too, that we set up the terrain and shelf back there is a pretty good example of this, because parts didn't go up, there's a few spot for 1, 2, 3, so with these welding and his booth, we can very quickly see, oh, there's work for me to do, and we can make a plan from there, kind of knows what needs to happen first, second, and third.
Kind of indicates in the break process.
Because there's great.
I don't know where those are, so I was like giving brake press, like we've been doing the brake press this week. Is it on this side of that?
Yeah, it's on the robot side of that.
Okay. I didn't know about it. Okay, so.
Another thing I've noticed in the 2 cell thing we were doing yesterday, me and Cole communicating back and forth on, hey, how long do you think this is gonna take it? You know, how long am I gonna spend on this bumper? Where do I take it? What stage do I give it to you at, kind of thing? And even on the first job, we were like, yeah, I'll have enough time to weld the tube on, and then, you know, it kind of evened the time out. It was just like a 45-second addition to mine, but it evened the time out so that we can efficiently flow through the cells. I think that's important too. Interdepartment communication, even just like ourselves, is important too.
As we work through trying to fix our flow, you're obviously going to see less work in progress sitting in front of you. So there has to be some communication when you're in need of a product or going to be in need of a product. You need to be, you need to communicate to the department that's feeding your department and say, hey, we're going to be running out here and we need it in an hour, we need it in 2 hours, whatever it may be, so that you can keep working. Because the whole idea is to create that flow. So you're a pull. And if you're a trigger, to go back and say, Nick, we're going to need more work for this weld cell. You know, so that's another area of communication that can happen as that like customer to supplier relationship.
Kind of a real world example for me, at least, of that WhatsApp communication and the importance of that. I kind of liaison between marketing and engineering at times. And oftentimes I need to talk to engineers as a whole, you know, the entire group or whatever. And I've been more conscious now that we are paying more attention to the 8-ways and not taking as many trips back and forth across the parking lot. I kind of stop and think before I have to talk to those guys now, hey, can this be a chat communication or does this need to be a face-to-face conversation?
I'll tag up on that real quick. WhatsApp makes it really easy to use your phone number to do calls. So I found it much easier once the microphone, whatever, weirdness on your phone, you get permission. Making calls on there is like making a phone call, which is super useful when you're trying to. I've been called by a few people like that. Having calls a lot. Sometimes voice messages are great, but if you're trying to handle something back and forth quickly, it's nice to just be able to get somebody on the phone. Also, so don't be scared to do that.
Voice messages, as I call them, boomer messages. They are incredibly beneficial, because you can actually get deflection in voice and you can kind of start to feel the person as opposed to just reading something, and it's like that Key and Peele skit. Do you even want to hang out? Do I even want to hang out? You know, so I think I cut some of that out. So I think that's important as well. And it also is sharpening us to all stop saying because we all make fun of each other for it. So
I definitely a lot in my voice messages, so we're gonna work on that. In conclusion, want to be an effective lean communicator? It's as simple as ABC. Add value briefly and clearly. Questions or comments?
In the cell, it's you have to communicate pretty good in the cell because the language barrier between Solemn and I. So a lot of that I have to relay information onto Ahmad, and he has to tell Solemn, okay, you do this much work and you pass it on. You don't do any more, you don't do any less. So it's really important to communicate effectively in the cell.
All right. We're short on time, so we'll make it quick. Saw department.
There's anything on the saw. So there's one thing in. There's surfacing and me and Greg knocked out 33 jobs between 4 and 5 o'clock last night.
Made a ready good yesterday. We cut the rest of 11 gauge, a couple sheets of 7 gauge steel, and then cut 1/4 inch as well.
CNC lathe got fixed yesterday, so we got spindles going, and we'll get spindles finished up today.
Great, Chris.
Good. We all stayed busy, got out some.
Fab.
I'd say it was an overall good day. As Alex said earlier, the South Cell ran into some issues, but we knocked off a couple good times on the North Cell.
Purchasing and accounting.
Wrapping up my end. We are finding ways to clean out the process, and so far it's going really strong.
Engineer.
Thinking they're good. Stuff is a little muddy right now, but there's some interruptions. We're just kind of jumping around the press and a couple of new things that are getting introduced, seems like daily, so we're just trying to navigate that. Get the big projects moved along and stuff like this.
Customer service.
Yesterday was really cool. We had a nice meeting with John. We're working on getting some dashboards that we can see things that we haven't been able to see before through Epicor. So John's working really hard on that. Shout out to John. Thank you very much. Tickets are normal. Customer service, I think yesterday had a pretty normal day. So
marketing.
Got our soft topper installed on the Tundra after a couple small hurdles, so we can get some photos and stuff like that back to soft topper themselves for some co-marketing there.
Show us some numbers.
Yeah. So yesterday we did this. Total right here. And then average we need this much over the last 17 days.
Robot.
We got 2 actually container bumpers through the robot for the booth yesterday. Went to run the exterior Vanguard bumper. The guy gave us a heads up there may be a bad issue on the shell of the part. There was, so that ultimately resulted in Terry hand building that bumper, and I think he's got about 15 minutes more on that, and then that'll be done for the booth up here as well.
Powder coat.
We got a good push through yesterday. I stayed about an hour over yesterday to push out that cart, so shipping's got some stuff to ship. We're just keeping up just enough for shipping to get some stuff out, but see if we get more out today.
All right, tomorrow's presenter, Bryce. Don't push the burden.